We're going to transition to one of my favorite guys, Verl Workman. He is a absolute legend in the coaching space. And I want you all to stay here and listen to his, what is it, short 10, 15, 20 minutes max?
Max.
10 minutes. You
10,
guys
15
stick
max.
around. Stick around for Verl. It's amazing. Verl, thank you for being here. Brent asked me to fill in today. He's at the Cruise on the Seas with the build. And it was just a complete honor to be able to get to introduce you and welcome you to the call. And I'm going to be quiet and listen as well. But everybody, sit down, take notes, get a pen and paper, and listen to every word that this man has to say, because he will change your life if you let him. Verl, thank you for being
Randy,
here.
thanks, man. What a great intro. Most importantly, if it's not fun, I'm not going to go. So I'm all about having fun, having great life balance, and if you're okay with it, making a bunch of money in the process. So a lot of people are afraid to talk about, hey, I actually want to make money in this business, but I found that not having any sucks. And so I've decided that if I'm going to work and spend time away from family, it needs to be worth it. And so what we do is we trade time for money. And so every time I look at what we do in a day, I try and decide, is that effort that I'm putting into it giving me the highest return on time away from family? Does that make any sense? So ROT, return on time. And are you getting it? And one of the best ways to understand that and really have it resonate with you is to start tracking it. A couple of calls ago, I gave you a resource called the Daily Success Habits Tracker, where we track what we do from a dollar productive activities. Then we write down in 30-minute increments what we actually do every day. And if you go back and review that and look at it and ask yourself the question, am I spending the time doing the things that give me the highest return? You're going to find that accountability happens because of awareness, not because of someone making you do something. So Tammy, when you see it, it's like, I got it. Duh. I was gone all day from my family and I didn't do a single thing that made me any money. So tomorrow when I get up, I'm going to do my dollar productive things first. And so I can say it was a win today. It was a good day. And then the rest of the crap that happens in my whirlwind is okay. One of the things that I hear from agents all the time, it doesn't matter what size of business they have, I would actually bet that I could come into any one of your businesses at any level and I could find where you're leaving money on the table. And I'll bet you we could find hundreds of thousands of dollars in commission in lost income just from not following up properly with B and C leads. Anybody disagree with me or challenge me to say, no, bro, come on, let's do mine? No? All right. So I appreciate you saying that's a given. So a lot of people want to focus on how do I generate more opportunities? How do I get more leads? And so my message today in Sales Mastery isn't to go out and find new opportunities, but to convert more of the opportunities that are right in front of you. The money I'm going to tell you is in your B and C leads in your database. The C leads are where the gold is. You've heard all the stats on how often people follow up and where conversions happen. And conversions usually happen between the 7th and the 12th contact. But it's 80%. 80% of the closed transactions happen in the C lead part of your funnel. That's that they haven't engaged, they haven't answered your email, they didn't respond to your text, but they went on your site, they looked at property, but nothing happened. They even gave you their information, but they haven't engaged. And so what I've done is I figured out over the last many years how to convert C leads to B leads and B leads to A leads following a very specific system. And I'm going to share with you the system of converting A's, B's, and C's. Now, this isn't a system that is like, oh, maybe you should try this, it might work. This is a system that I sold 100,000 agent websites for homes.com using. It's a system that when I sold my company to homes.com, they used me to go in and train and teach people that were generating leads on how to convert. Companies like Boomtown and Sync and others hire Workman to come in and teach this strategy to these high volume lead generators. We've got people doing Zillow Flex, massive Zillow Flex teams, and that are converting 8 to 12% and absolutely killing it because we don't let the B and C leads go. Most agents, I want you to think about this. Most agents are lazy. I'll just let that simmer for a minute. And what that means is if somebody calls on a property or they inquire and you respond and they respond back, The agents will work that lead because it was easy. They'll work it because they interacted with someone. Yeah, I'd like to look at a house you have. Okay, well, when can you meet me there? Tuesday. Great. Well, they'll work that lead, but somebody that goes on and looks, gives an information exchange that doesn't respond, that's not easy. It requires effort. And so one of the things I've learned is that the big difference between average and exceptional is if you want to continue to just like really separate yourself from the average, what we do is we do the things that the average people are unwilling to do. And it starts by creating systems for anything we do 3 times. You're going to hear lots of Verlisms on these calls every Tuesday. Anything we do 3 times, we create a system for it. Now we're going to talk about, and we're going to focus on the ABCs of lead conversion. Let me see which slide. Okay. So I'm going to open up and I'm going to share my screen, this screen right here. And I'm going to share with you a very, very specific lead conversion strategy. And it's just proven. It's just proven. I've done it over and over again, and we continue to do it. When someone tells me they're not making enough money, I say, great, let's look in your database. I want to look at all the leads that have come in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year. And I'm going to see if they're categorized correctly. I'm going to see when the last touch you have is. I'm going to see if they're doing any activities or behaviors that would make you want to call them. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify what each of the A, B's, and C's are. And then I'm going to give you the system on how we follow up with them. And then I'm going to give you a format, or I'm going to give you some things to do when you're talking to each of these at each level. Very cool. You guys with me? All right, Randy, you buckled up? You ready? You in? Okay. So an A lead, let's define an A lead. An A lead is somebody you have an appointment with. That's it. That's how we qualify an A lead. You can use it for recruiting. You can use it for attraction. You can use it for converting real estate sales. If you have an appointment with someone, it's an A lead. So let me show you how we do this. Someone calls, they say, I want to meet you to look at a house. You say, great, I'll meet you at the house. When you're done showing the home and they don't like that house, and you say, well, would you like to get together next week and see if we can go look at some other ones? They say, sure. That's where most people stop talking. You say, great, do you want to go to the beginning of the week or the end of the week? They say beginning. You say Monday or Tuesday. They say Tuesday. You say morning or afternoon. They say afternoon. You say 1 o'clock or 3. 3 o'clock. You set the appointment. If you do not follow that script and process to set the appointment, they become a B lead. An A lead is somebody you have an appointment with. One of the most important things you can teach agents on your teams is that whenever they're finished with a contact, a face-to-face meeting with a buyer, seller, potential agent, you always set the next appointment. You don't leave it in the, oh, let's stay in touch box, because they're no longer an A lead. So an A lead is somebody you have an appointment with. A stands for appointment. Is everybody clear on what an A lead is? We know what an A lead is? Kathy, you got me? It's an appointment. We have an appointment with them. Okay. A B lead, sorry, wrong way. A B lead is someone who is not ready to go yet. They're 30 to 90 days out, and we're going to call them 2 times a month. But we're going to call them during the weeks that the 1st falls in and the 15th falls in. So B leads, we don't have an appointment with, but we're going to follow up with them. We're going to have them on an auto hot sheet. We're going to be sending them properties. We're going to be giving them valuable information. And we're going to call, when they're a B lead, you give them property, neighborhood, and community specific information. So B leads are specific information, and then we call them twice a month during the weeks that the 1st falls in and the 15th falls in. Patricia, what do you say to a B lead? Let me give you the dialogue. Hi, this is Verl. I'm just calling to make sure I'm not dropping the ball. Are you getting the information I'm sending you out about the properties in Cottonwood Heights? Oh, awesome. Is there anything you want me to change in your search? Hey, did you look at the one that I flagged that had the extra 2.5 car garage that was detached? I don't know if you thought about that, but when you told me you had boats and RVs, I thought maybe that'd be a good idea. Did you look at that? Here, let me pull it up. I'll share it with you. I always call and say, this is Verl. I'm calling to make sure I'm not dropping the ball. 2 weeks from now, when I call Patricia again, I say, Patricia, this is Verl. You know I am calling. I'm calling to make sure I'm not dropping the ball. Are you still getting those properties? Are you guys getting any closer to wanting to look at something? No cost or obligation. I'm just going to keep sending you something. Maybe something I send you will resonate. Hey, have you heard about our Stop, Drop, and Save program? I then give them something they've never heard about that allows them to take advantage of other options in financing. I give them other ideas or ways that they can move forward. Everybody right now is feeling stuck on the sidelines, And so my process in communicating with people is to give them tools and resources to help them know that there are options and they don't have to be frustrated and feel stuck. So when I'm calling them, I'm serving regardless of opportunity, not selling. How can I help? Can I give you some options? Use me, don't use me. It's okay. I'm just here to take care. Take care. Okay. An A lead we have an appointment with. A B lead we call twice a month during the weeks that the first falls in and the 15th falls in. A C lead we're going to call once a month during the week that the 8th falls in. And so think about this, Randy. If you've got a big team and you're trying to figure out what everybody's doing all the time, start running a system for lead follow-up. Hey, this is the week the 8th falls in, so we're all working our C leads. So I should be able to open up the database, bring up all the leads that are tagged as C leads, and we're just dialing for dollars. And what do you say to a C lead? Anybody want to guess? Okay, Tammy, here it is. Hey, this is Verl. I'm just calling to make sure I'm not dropping the ball. You say the same thing to a C lead as you say to a B lead. I promise no one's gonna say, hold on. That is not C lead dialogue. You use that with your B leads. They don't know. And when I say I'm just calling to make sure I'm not dropping the ball, you call me every month, Verl. You're never gonna drop the ball. I said, I know. My attitude towards lead follow-up is we follow up until they buy or tell you to die. I want you to follow up until they file a restraining order. We follow up. If you want your agents and the people on your team to convert a higher percentage of everything, you have to teach them that we serve regardless of opportunity and we follow up forever. When anybody ever runs into you and you say, oh, it's such and such agents on your team, man, they really follow up, you know you're doing a good job. If they say to you, no, I haven't heard from them. You go, oh, that's really weird. They usually do a better job than that. It's your fault. As a leader that you're not teaching consistent follow-up system, A, B, C. And then the last is we follow up with our sphere of influence during the week of the 22nd. So we do A's, we have an appointment with. B's, we call twice a month during the weeks of the 1st and the 15th. C's, we call once a month during the week of the 8th. And then we call through our sphere of influence and our SOI during the week of the 22nd. What would happen if all you did for the next 90 days was go through all of the contacts in your database, all of the leads that have been generated, and call every one of them and classify them as an A, a B, or a C? Is there any chance you would identify, number one, lost business that you've lost because you haven't followed up, and number two, new opportunities that are just sitting there waiting for someone to reach out? So you just have to decide if you're going to do it. So we talked about the sphere of going on the 22nd. Okay, so the next thing is well, that's a wrong slide from this deck. Okay, let me give you another one. The next thing I'm going to share with you is I'm going to share with you, for those of you that signed up for the program that just gives you access to my emails after all these calls, I'll give you a QR code. If you haven't got it, I'll give it to you and you can get it. So after each of these calls every week, I send you resources and behind the scenes stuff and sometimes tools. So I'm going to give you the ABCs of lead management. I'll give you the scripts that we use to follow up with. And then I'm going to give you something that I haven't given out very often, and it's the C Lead Shift module. We created a series of modules that are basically options. I like to say, Patricia, to my team leaders that they are options dealers. And so they're not there to buy or help people, convince them to buy or sell a house. They're there to understand the situation and then give them real options. And so we've created like 20 or 25 shift modules, which takes threats in the marketplace, and then it messages to the consumer based on their emotional intelligence and behavior they're having. They feel frustrated, stuck. And then we use a tool or a system and a story to say, hey, I've got other people that felt the same way. This is what they realized, and this is what they were able to do as a result of changing the way they looked at something. And oftentimes there's a tool and a resource and a script that go along with these shift modules. The shift module I'm going to give you right here is the one we call the C Leads Prospecting System. And so you can all download this today. And what's going to give you is when we do B leads, we're giving them property and neighborhood specific information. When I do C leads, the things I mail them or I share with them are market general information. So I'm not giving them specific things about a property. I'm just giving them general things about the marketplace, like winterizing your home or valuable home upgrades or energy efficient tips or the things that position me as an expert and let them know, hey, that was something that really helped me. So I'm going to give you the ability, I'm going to give you a bunch of downloaded topics and themes you could send out, and I'll give you the story that you read, and then I'll give you a methodology of creating your own shift modules. I'll probably over time give you a bunch of these. And so as you pay attention to these calls, you have to be on the call to get them. And so if you're on the call and you're here and you get the email address, I'll send it to you. If you just go right here, use this QR code and opt in, you'll get the resources or tools that I give you away, besides behind the scenes video content. There's other things that I'm going to share with you. On this one, I actually have a video of me of one of my coaches teaching the A, B, and C dialogue that we're going to give you as well in a much greater detail, so you can share that with your teams and your organizations on how to convert leads. The key is a lot of people think, I'm going to stop my share for a minute. A lot of people think and believe that you have to spend a bunch of money in order to get higher conversions. And the truth is that we lead with revenue, not expense. And most of the systems and most of the tools and most of the resources that I teach or coach to are not things that you have to go buy and invest in. They're just behaviors that we have to create systems around so they happen automatically. If you ever want to build a business that scales and that grows, a business that is so good that you never want to sell it, then you have to have systems for everything, and you have to have real profitability. And if you don't have systems, you don't have profitability, then your business is built around an individual. And when it's built around an individual, it has no value when the individual leaves. Does that make sense? So anyway, as I give you systems and processes, I just challenge you, number one, to use them, and the other one, just have some fun. Have some fun. Like I dare you to pick up the phone and call a bunch of C leads and say, "Hey, I'm just calling to see if I make sure I'm not dropping the ball." Kim, what do you think people are going to say? You are dropping the ball. I called you 6 months ago. I say, I know, but I'm not going to drop it anymore, and apologize and say, where are you right now? And they'll tell you where they are, and then you just go from there. Like just get into it. My son, he was a missionary. He went to the Philippines for 2 years. And talk about a hard thing for a mother to do, and that's send your kid to a foreign language, a place in the Philippines where he's going to go knock on huts. And he's in a place called Iloilo, out in the middle of poverty. He had no idea what poverty was until he saw kids playing soccer outside using a flip-flop as a ball because they don't have a ball. Like that's the kind of poverty. And he was so happy. But before he left, there was a little church lady. I call her the church lady. Her name was Diane. And Diane's probably 85 years old. And she had lived in the Philippines for 5 years. And she had served there. And she loved the people. And the day that Nate kind of gave his missionary farewell, you talk in church and everybody kind of gives you a send off. He's 19 years old, just graduated from high school. Little church lady, she's 4 foot nothing, comes up to Nate and she looks at him. My big son is there and she smacks him on the forehead. Just like that. And she says, Nate, just get into it and just love the people. And that was it. And there was no greater advice that I've ever heard given to anybody who wants to change their circumstance. Just get into it. Brent asked me to come do these calls because he believed that I could share with you something that would move the needle. We want to create production in your organizations and have everybody rise as a result. When everybody's producing and making money, it's a lot more attractive. You want to know what's attractive? Signs in yards, like gross closed income, selling houses. So let's become attractive by helping our people produce and apply the principles that I share into your organizations. And if you ever need more help at a more personal level, raise your hand at some point and say, give me a coach. I need help. We coach a lot of people in EXP, a lot of your leaders or Workman Success clients and coaches. And so if you ever need help, just let us know. But for now, I'm going to continue to just give to you everything I can that will help you grow. And my challenge to you is, and you can all take the smack in the forehead, is just get into it. Is that a big ask? Can you get into it? And if you do that and you love your people, your business is going to be great. So that's all I got for you. Randy, any questions from the group?
Thank you for being here, brother. I love it. It's fundamental, but there's gold in your databases. If you go through, they're going to find 50, 100 or more people that are C's and B's in your database. Just call them and give them that script. And I love that, Verl. You're looking great, brother. You're looking really good,
Hey
man.
man, I broke 200 pounds for the first time since
Wow.
I was.
Come on, let's
Matter
give
of
him a
fact,
round of applause for that.
I think I was 220 as a senior in high school.
Wow.
Right?
Congrats.
It's
Congrats.
mini me.
Congrats. Well, you're looking great. Appreciate you
Thanks,
bringing
man.
the fire today. Thank you. Now go, nope, put in the perspiration and do this now. Don't let this just go in one ear and out the other. You've got a legend on the line here telling you what to do, and you've got the roadmap now. So just go bam and do it.
Love it.
Thank you. I
See you
appreciate
guys
it.
next week.
Thanks,
For being
everybody.
here.
Have a great day.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
the
for
gold
being here.
nuggets.
See you next
See you,
week.
Tammy.
Go do it.